Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us in this session with the WP Agency Summit and one of our gold sponsors, the WP Buffs. I'm here with my buddy Dean Burton, who is the head of customer success, and I'm super excited to dive into how agencies can scale their monthly recurring revenue. Dean, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey. Yes, great. Yeah, we were just saying before, it's been a while since we've spoken, so it's also awesome just to catch up with you.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a little background about who you are and what your role is at WP Buffs?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Dean. I'm the head of customer success at WP Buffs. I also work alongside Louise. I'm based in Spain, and coincidentally, she's also based in Spain, and we're both from England. And yeah, the customer success team work on what I would consider the fun side of stuff, making sure our customers get the most out of our products, our care plans, and I get to work with our white label agencies as well.
That is fantastic. And what is super exciting for me personally is because I am one of the white label partners with WP Plus, one of the smaller ones, admittedly, but still, you helped me make some recurring revenue. So thank you for that in the first place. Well, what I want this conversation to focus on is I wanted to grab your brain and to essentially have you walk us through how agencies at any stage, whether it's a one-man shop, whether it's a 15-person team, a 50-person team, can earn recurring revenue. And then you have two ways at WP Buffs on how agencies can leverage your offering, essentially. And for everybody who's wondering this, first of all, we are not going to turn this into a pitch fest because it's all about strategy and how you can implement this. And B, if you have any questions, don't hold back. We had some amazing interactions with the session with Oliver Silt just 3 hours ago. So please bombard us with your questions, especially if you're not earning recurring revenue yet. That is something that we want to change. We want to put your business onto a more stable foundation. So with that being said, Dean, would you walk us? I think the best way is to start is with the affiliate program, because it's easier to wrap your head around that, and then we'll start dive into the white label program.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely ask questions. I mean, this is my most favorite part of my job, is working with agencies with literally one website, two websites, or 50 or 100, and just kind of watching people scale. That is super exciting for me. So I'm happy to help if I can. But yeah, the affiliate program, WP Buffs has gone through quite a huge revamp, as well as our branding and our entire website, really. So this is quite an exciting time to learn more about our affiliate program. And because we are such massive fans of MRR, monthly recurring revenue, we've turned our affiliate program into recurring commission structure. So what that means is basically you can earn 10% commission for everybody that you successfully convert to WP Buffs care plans. So you'll get recurring commission for the lifetime of that customer. So that's just one way that you're able to kind of put in recurring revenue into your business.
How does that look for agencies when they implement this? What's the real world example for that?
Yeah, so your agency might, so you may actually be on a white label program, and you may also be on our affiliate program. I'll talk you through like a few ways that this can kind of work, but that can kind of be like, from the top of my head, I remembered a partner who is in that exact situation on the white label program. And so maybe they have clients that come to them that maybe just don't fit their budget, or maybe they, for any reason, they just don't fit their agency, but they still want a trusted partner to be able to refer out to. Then that's when our affiliate program can come in, and they still get to earn recurring revenue through the affiliate program. But you can also you don't have to be an agency to join the program. You can really be anybody with, maybe you have a content strategy, you're a content writer, you are maybe running Facebook groups within the WordPress space, or you're a business owner that just knows a ton of businesses that work around WordPress. The affiliate program is going to be great for you as well. So there's a ton of different angles that you could come from for the affiliate program. But yeah, particularly for agencies, there are lots of different avenues to kind of hit that. Most agencies nowadays have blogs, so that would be a great space to kind of talk there. But yeah, you could kind of tackle it from both.
Brilliant. Matt, thank you so much for from joining us again. That is amazing to see you back here. And Graham also. Graham, you've also been on Oliver's session. So thank you so much for spending almost the entire day with us on the WP Agency Summit. That means a lot. And with your affiliate program, you also have fantastic resources to help people get started. So even if somebody doesn't have any experiences with affiliate marketing, you have the content to get them up to speed.
Yeah, for sure. So this is also brand new as well. So Alexis is our affiliate manager who does an amazing job at connecting with our affiliates, bringing them on board, and really working with them to kind of help them build out their sort of affiliate network, if you like. So you'll get access to an affiliate dashboard, which actually anybody can access directly from the website. You don't need an account. So there's tons of resources in there. Everything from kind of content marketing to really like using our sort of features of our care plans within your content. And we share other strategies that have worked for our big affiliates as well. So the affiliate dashboard is, yeah, super useful, and we're building it out all of the time as well.
And that's really nice. And also it goes to show your I would say philosophy about working in the community and contributing to the community, because especially with the white label program, you are creating a ton of resources that your agency partners can use to sell maintenance plans and to scale their recurring revenue. So we've mentioned white label program quite a bit by now. What really is that? What does it mean?
Yeah, you're right. The resources section for our partners I can touch on as well and just explain a bit about what that is. I'm super excited about that because we're constantly growing it based on feedback of our partners. In a nutshell, the white label program allows WordPress agencies to sell care plans and then hand over the work to us on a completely white labeled, branded as them basis. So it really gives you the flexibility to kind of, if you are maybe a freelancer or a consultant on your own, trying to tackle everything in your business as well as care plan services, the white label program is perfect for you because, as I said, you're able to resell those care plans at a price point that makes sense for you and the clients you work with, profit from them, and then hand over that work so that you can really be free to do everything else in your business and hopefully scale that area of your business as well.
And that is amazing that we are getting to talk about this because, again, it's not a pitch fest, but it's a way for agencies and freelancers to earn money. And it just so happens that WP Buffs is one of the agencies or one of the businesses that you can work with in order to do that. And by becoming an affiliate partner, yes, you are paying WP Buffs, but you have your markup that is the profit, and you don't do anything for that essentially because the entire work gets automated. From my experience of working with WP Buffs, what I like the most is how flexible you are in terms of the partnership and in terms of the work that I can outsource to you. So I have a few sites on smaller plans, and then I had this one big e-commerce site that we teamed up on, and I was doing part of maintenance, you were doing part of maintenance. So that is super cool to know, especially for freelancers, when you have like this very, you consider it to be a complicated client, or you have a website with custom functionality or something, just talk to Dean and the team to see how you can figure out a way to work together. And I would love to a little bit talk about mindset barriers for a moment when it comes to selling maintenance plans, because what held me back in the beginning was the feeling that I had to be present 24/7. How do you solve this?
Yeah, that's a big challenge for a lot of agencies, and especially when you are just one person in an agency trying to maintain those relationships with your clients. You feel like, you have to be on the phone. Some people even give them, Facebook Messenger access, and they have clients, at every single contact point. One of the things that our program really aims to do is you're able to sell effectively 24/7 support under your own brand, and not have to provide that support. So you can hand that over to us. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that you have to let all of those relationships go and you're not kind of involved in that support process. One of the ways that we solve that problem basically is give you what we call a company dashboard. And so you can log in there anytime and you can see all of the communication between us and your client. And that really helps agencies kind of just keep on top of things. So let's say you do want to keep phone communication with your clients, they can ring you up at any time still, let's say. You're not ever going to be out of the loop for support tickets. You always have access to that dashboard, and you can see what the work that we've been doing on their website. So it's not about kind of separating this service from your business and just kind of handing it over. It's about kind of really integrating us as part of your team, and we just kind of sit behind and work kind of merged with your brand, really. That's our sort of goal. And we also work really closely with you as the agency as well. So it's not like it really isn't kind of like a set and forget sort of solution. We have, as you know, we have really close contact with our partners. So
yeah, definitely. And one thing that stood out to me is the skill of communication that your team has, because I've worked with various freelancers in the past, and it wasn't always easy, to put it the nice way.
Yeah.
It's a challenge to get some requirements across sometimes, or to get a task specification across sometimes. And one thing that your team does really well is understand what needs to be done and to know how to do it. And one thing I want to circle back a little bit is that notion of 24/7 support, offering that without having to deliver that also gives you, as the agency owner, the opportunity to establish a fixed process for your customer communication and for the customer expectations, if you will, so that you get out of this habit of waking up at 2 a.m. when the customer calls you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, the 24/7 aspect is super valuable for agency partners. I mean, we help agencies scale by allowing them to sell that and to be able to provide that within their agency. And so with providing 24/7 service, that's a super valuable point. And so then again, your price point can also go up. That extra profit that you're making per care plan can go back into your business to help you scale. Maybe you need to upgrade your resources. Eventually you're going to need to grow your own team, all of these things. And so 24/7 access is to support teams for your clients is just super valuable. And that's not to say clients always need 24/7 access, but if the website goes down at 3 a.m., you don't want to be getting out of bed and sorting that out.
That's true, especially for e-commerce clients. Yeah, if you have, I had one client that turned over like 6 figures a month. If that website went down, I was in big trouble. So it was good to have WP Buffs cover that. And one quick shout out before I get into the first question. I want to give a shout out to funnelpacks.co, which is run by my friend Matt Davies. They have a funnel pack that you can download to sell care plans. So they give you the lead magnet, they give you the landing page, the email sequence that you need, and you can customize that, set it up within a day, essentially, start promoting that to sell your care plans, and then funnel the customers over to WP Buffs or any other service that you might want to choose for whatever reason. That is a very simple, straightforward way to set up a recurring revenue business. And then there is a really good question from Graham. Is it possible to see an example or get access to a demo of that company dashboard?
Yeah, that's a super good question. That's actually in the pipeline for our partner hub. We actually have 2 separate resource sections. One of them is a completely public area. You don't need to have access to log in. And the other one gives you more sort of in-depth resources for active white label partners, and it also has a My Account section. So one thing that I actually really want to do is just include sort of what's the word? Maybe like motion screenshots. I don't know what the technical word for that is. To kind of add them into our public facing sort of resource section so that people can actually see, hey, when I join, what am I going to be seeing? How does this dashboard work?
Yeah.
What does this look like? So at the moment, I guess the answer is we don't yet have sort of free access to that dashboard. It's run through our support desk, and it's an area of access for our active white label partners. But yeah, I think that's also an awesome suggestion as well. So yeah, I'd love to add that into our.
Maybe you can walk us a little bit through the structure of the dashboard. Like, what type of information can we expect to see there?
Yeah, so the ticket dashboard is a fairly simple setup. It's really a login screen. Once you log in, you're able to see a list of tickets that have been sent by your clients and by your agency. And we just have a couple of separate tabs that allow you to kind of filter through by status and priority. So if there's something that we're waiting on from your client, you can log in and see that. If there's active tickets, you can group them all together. It's a fairly simple dashboard, but it works to be able to help us streamline communication. So I don't know. I think that's a really good idea. Was that Graham? Yeah. Thanks, Graham.
Yeah.
I'm going to add that into our resources.
Brilliant. And he has another good question with the weekly white label report. If you can customize that, so to only send it to certain clients, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. So each client will get their own report. And with us, it's completely white label and branded as you. So they're super customizable. It will include your agency logo, everything really from the email that gets sent with the attached report to the content within the report is completely customizable. And that's also customizable based on the level of plan you sell. So that's something we work with you through on onboarding.
Yeah, and onboarding also, as you touched upon email, onboarding also ensures that you set up an email account that the buffs can use to send out these emails and to communicate with the clients. And you can even specify the footer in that account so that it has your signage in the footer, your logo in the footer, stuff like that. So that is a really, really high level of attention to detail in the communication of the client side.
Yeah, for sure. It's super easy to set the emails up as well. It's as simple as a brand new email address being created. Normally, I just recommend like support@youragency.com and then forward that. So it's a forwarding sort of setup that comes straight into our desk. And yeah, as you said, it's completely white labeled and branded as the agency.
Yeah. Can you walk us through a few of the benefits that WP Buffs can provide as a white label partner that help agencies sell the care plans?
Yeah, sure. So this goes back to our Partner Hub resource section. I guess that's where the bulk of that sort of support would be. So I'll start there. Within there, we basically just give a lot of resources and strategies that we've used ourselves to scale WP Buffs and grow WP Buffs. We are a care plan service, and so we have a lot of experience, a lot of strategies that we can share with our agency partners, and we're lucky to be able to do that. So we're fairly transparent when it comes to what works and what doesn't work. So one of the things that we include are email sequences. So that's for lead generation, but also what to do with your clients once you've got them. So you'll still be responsible for kind of the communication during the onboarding process. So that's something we also like to help you with. We give you emails that you can customize for your brand, also for lead generation, but also for the onboarding. Yeah, tons of resources. The marketing section is awesome, which we're also growing out at the moment. Ebooks, so you can kind of set up download triggers on your website, usually done through like a pop-up. So somebody might want to download the security ebook or a speed optimization ebook. These are all white labeled. They're not WP Buffs branded, so you can take those and use them as you like, and to help with lead generation.
Yeah.
Tons of
stuff.
So
you are essentially setting up the entire funnel for your agency partners, and they just need to customize them.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, we want to make it as easy as possible and be as valuable as possible to partners once they're with us. And we're kind of obsessed with helping agencies grow and scale. And so whatever I can do to help with that, we'll do. The other thing that I wanted to just touch on was our what I've kind of coined partner success calls. And these are basically Zoom calls around 30 minutes every month, just with our active white label agency partners. And the aim of those calls really is just around conversations, informal chats around, areas of selling care plans where you might be struggling, where we can kind of identify areas to help out. I get so much valuable feedback through those calls, and that has kind of formed a lot of the material that you'd see in the Partner Hub in the resources section. So yeah, they're super valuable for our partners. Just helps you kind of talk through, hey, where can I improve my processes, or we may talk about particular clients and where we can help kind of tighten up communication there, talk about what's going well. So yeah, they're super valuable, and that gives me an opportunity to chat to our active partners as well.
And that is something that I really admire, because you are then implementing that real world feedback into your marketing strategy, so that all the other agency partners can improve as well. And what I'm just looking at the website, that's why I'm staring off camera here, is you have a sales guide on the camera, on the website. You have a sales guide on the website that people can download to start selling your care plans. Walk us through that. What is, if you can, obviously, what is the perfect discovery call and sell
That's
your
right.
very first care plans?
Yeah, so Joe and I worked on this together after I've worked on the kind of discovery call side at WP Buffs ever since I kind of started working here, which was almost 3 years ago. And so we wanted to put together kind of literally that strategy that we know has worked for us. And we kind of just went, hey, this is really working. Should we put something solid together that we can kind of give to our agency partners if they wanted to do discovery calls? What that document is basically it touches on a lot of the different features in our care plans to kind of really help you talk through in a logical way with the potential client to kind of figure out what they're looking for. And what that does is it gives you a good idea of what the client is looking for, but also helps you kind of almost vet them to see in a super transparent conversational way if you are truly the right person to help this client, and if and vice versa, to see if you're both a good fit for each other, really. But yeah, it really kind of helps you to put in, it's not a script, and so it's not intended to be used as a script, but it definitely gives you a really good reference point to be able to check back and go, okay, how do we handle speed optimization, or how do we handle security optimization, and kind of prepares you for any of those kind of questions that come up, and we share how our team will handle that. So you can kind of just weave it into those discovery calls. I love that document. It's super useful.
I can imagine. Walk us through the setup process. Say we've just signed up as an agent, as a white label partner, and we want to onboard our first client to the WP Buff support. What does it look like?
Yeah, good question. So the very first thing that would happen is that you would have a call with somebody on our sales team. So it'd be like a discovery call where we would kind of talk you through our entire program, figure out which stage you're at in your business. And then from there, you would check out with your first plan. So it's really just a simple cart checkout process to kind of get you into the system. And you only ever have to do that once, which is the awesome thing. So everything else is super easy. It's super easy to be able to add new care plans. So you just check out once. You would then get an automated email immediately, which would just tell you next steps, how to kind of get your login details to us, how to get everything white labeled. So how to set up your email address, how we would fix up your reporting. And then from there, we're in touch within our support desk. And so it's a really smooth transition from our sales to support. We've tried to make that as super smooth as possible. And I think it's super smooth.
I can vote for that. Yeah, it really is. And even I'm probably one of the nightmare clients, because I like to customize my stuff all the time. And I've written some scripts that automate emails even.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes, I did. And we even talked about customizing your email system to account for those scripts. So that just goes to show how flexible you are and how open you are to accommodating your white label partners. And then what I also like is the way you approach the optimization and the work on the website itself. So you handle not just the basic like backups and security and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You have premium plugins that you install that come with the plans. You have unlimited edits that I can tell my clients they have unlimited edits in their care plans, which essentially doubles the price immediately because it's so valuable. And you can do so many things in the care plans that are great selling points. So what I would recommend if you are starting out with selling care plans is you put up 3 tiers of care plans. A cheap one, the middle one is the one most people will probably go for, and then a really, really expensive one. And you can just gradually add more of the services that the buffs provide. And if you just structure the cheapest one to cover all the costs that you have to pay as a white label partner and then add up like a 30% markup or something like that, that is a pretty straightforward way to scale the business.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a really good point. We also, that's what we kind of touch on from the discovery call through to the partner success calls once you join us as well. We really kind of like to talk to our partners and figure out how we can help them set up their tier structure, fix up their pricing. And, we're fully aware that we're not the cheapest option out there for care plan services, but to be able to scale your agency, value-based pricing, as you said, 24/7 support, when you're able to offer this as your agency, you're able to charge that premium price, which is going to let you scale your agency. Cheap prices aren't going to let you scale your agency. And so you really need that to push you forwards, definitely.
Yeah. What are some of the most common mistakes you see when people package up their care plans?
Probably over-promising. I think over-promising for something that we just can't do and don't deliver, because we are working as your brand. And so if you promise something that you deliver, that is if you're over-promising something that you can't do, what you're saying is you're asking us to do that, and we have to come back and say, no, we can't do that. And so we work really hard to try and smooth that out and be super transparent in terms of what we can and can't do. And we recommend that our agencies also have like a referral pool of people in their network, which again helps you, not only with your lead generation and new clients because you're building relationships, but it's also what WordPress is all about. We're all about community. And so maybe that might be things like, hey, we can manage a custom website under the lowest plan that we have. We might see that come through and we have to kind of push back on that and say, actually, that's not the case. So yeah, we definitely want to make sure we set expectations with our partners, and we want to make sure that our partners set expectations really well with their clients to set them up for long-term success. It's just not a good idea to oversell at any point. Transparency.
Yeah, definitely. And what are some of the differences in between the care plans? We touched upon briefly that e-commerce probably is more work than your average website. How do you structure their care plans in that regard?
Yeah, so we've got maintain, protect, and perform. So maintain being the lowest price, and then up to perform. But we also have custom plans above that as well for custom built websites. So that's something that we also help you sell as the agency if you're looking to manage custom websites. But yeah, sorry, I just saw Sabrina come in the chat then.
Hey, Sabrina.
Our maintain plan is good for kind of maybe blog type websites or websites that just don't change very often. And then, as you mentioned, we've got e-commerce websites managed under the perform plan. And so you can rename these plans and customize them as you like, and take our features and add them into your tier system and price them up accordingly. But we really manage. The good thing about the program and about WP Buffs in general is that we can manage a wide range of sites. So whether that's kind of like a small blogger site or a huge e-commerce website, we have plans that can kind of fit that sort of site. So it allows you to also hit a huge world of clients out there and not have to worry about kind of being up 24/7 trying to manage them all.
That's so true. And for that e-com site I mentioned earlier, I charged more than 4 figures, or well into 4 figures for that per month for the maintenance plan. And obviously, I was paying good buck to WP Bus for that as well, because it's a lot of work to manage the 6-figure online shop. But then without you, I couldn't have taken on this client in the first place. So that is something that you as a freelancer and as an agency owner need to be aware of, that if you have a strong partner in the background, whether that's we've had multiple companies who can team up with this by now on the summit. That's WP Buffs for maintenance services. That is WebArcs for security. That is Ayubenda if you want to resell services around data privacy, cookie policies, and stuff like that. That is WP Engine if you want to resell hosting. Cloudways is coming up with a partner program as well. And I think as an agency, you need to have these networks, you need to have these partnerships so that you don't have to tackle all the workload on your own.
Yeah, 100%. I actually just recently had a call with somebody whose entire agency was based around having partners do the work for them. And so they had an amazing business mind, an amazing business strategy experience, which you don't necessarily need to have. It just happened to be that way. But yeah, her business was just built around outsourcing this work, and she was just really awesome at being able to be a project manager almost. And so you really don't need to, like you say, actually have to be able to do this work now to be able to have an agency with care plan services built in.
Yeah. And that's actually something that I want to do myself as well in the business. As we talked about off camera, I'm a new father, first-time father, and I want to spend time with my family now. So I don't have time to maintain client websites, for example. So that is where a service like Buffs comes in handy. And we have a nice question from Graham. He's a little confused on the white label pricing. Do I deduct 20% off your published pricing to figure out his base prices?
Yeah, that's right. So the I think it's /plans will take you to our direct client pricing. So white label pricing is 20% less than that.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing that up to the screen real quick. Sorry for interrupting.
You could take up a form plan as an example. The white label price would be $157.60. So that's what you pay us per website on Perform Plan. And then you're able to resell that on your website onto your clients for a price that makes sense for you. So a lot of our partners, especially when they're first starting, they might price just by using that 20% margin. So they might charge the full price, the same as what our direct clients would pay. That's a perfectly valid area to start, to price up your plans. Some people, I think you mentioned earlier, some people will bundle their services, and you also outsource part work to us and take some in-house. So that's also another area you could look at to raise prices. A good example would be maybe an SEO agency. An SEO agency aren't specialists when it comes to managing WordPress websites, but they may well come into contact with a lot of clients who have WordPress websites, and no doubt, once you've built that trust, they want to keep using the same person, and so that's a really good opportunity to add in
copywriters as well, graphic designers, web designer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there's definitely opportunity to be adding more value to your clients, and that also allows you to up your prices fairly as well.
Definitely, I agree. And I think that is also the route that I'm going to take in the future, is not to have that 20% markup, because if I'm honest, that's a bit low for me. I would like to see a 100% markup or 150 or 200% markup. But to justify that, you have to deliver more value, obviously. You have to deliver something custom to the client. So what you could very well do is you can bring on a VA, kind of like onlinejobs.ph is a website that I find really, really nice VA. I have a full-time VA from there right now. And if you find a good person at an affordable price and you bring them onto like 4, 5, 6 maintenance clients, it easily covers the cost and lets you reap a little bit of profit as well.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea. And you also just triggered another thought. Some partners would also add in maybe consultation hours. So maybe that would be like 1 hour a month or 2 hour calls a month. And they would talk through their client, maybe it's social media strategy. Maybe that's an area that you work in. It could also just be SEO audits or on-site SEO. Consulting is super valuable on its own. So that's another area you could really add in and just bundle that service together.
Yep, definitely. And then that again, now you triggered a thought in my head. That then leads to upsells, because when you're doing this consulting session on SEO and you're uncovering some potentials that your customer doesn't benefit from yet, you can upsell them on an SEO service to improve rankings, for example, or you could upsell them on building a new landing page to create a new funnel or something like that. That easily translates into another 5-figure project if you have the right clients.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I feel like it's quite limitless in a way.
It is.
Especially when you start thinking about like being able to outsource work as well.
It's a mindset shift though.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody said to me, I don't remember who it was, but they said to me, you should always have a higher level product. You should always have a higher level product. I can't remember who. I'm trying to think. It was the other day. But yeah, that's also another sort of mindset, really, around pricing. And when you're selling care plans, there's always more value you can deliver. You can always find
Yeah,
it.
definitely. I always refer people to Michael Killen in that regard, from sellyourservice.co.uk. He has this amazing book called 5-Figure Funnels, and it really walks you through the process of how to sell a 5-figure funnel. And then if you're selling a funnel, if you're selling a website, or if you're selling anything for that matter, he walks you through how to package this and how to get your mind right. And he also breaks down why 5 figures isn't necessarily much money. So when you're delivering something for $25,000, for example, you have to deliver value for $25,000. And that means bringing on a team member or two. And that means having more expenses. And then as soon as you break that down, you see that from those 25, maybe 8, maybe 10 stay in your business. And then you have to pay taxes on those, and you have to cover your business expenses from those. And suddenly from 25, maybe 5 is left. So that is really something that I think many agency owners need to wrap their heads around.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, pricing is, you can get quite wrapped up in pricing and almost kind of, just get lost, I think, in pricing sometimes. I think another thing, just in relation to the care plan services that we provide, it's that I think a lot of people with WordPress websites maybe feel like a lot of companies providing care plan services just run auto updates, and this is all kind of on autopilot. Why am I paying so much money for this? And that's simply just not the case. You can't do that safely. You just can't. Don't do
That's
that.
actually a great point. Yeah.
Please don't do that. And so that's one of the things that we kind of help our agencies teach their clients, is that option is absolutely there. It's definitely not recommended. And if you want to do that, it's going to hurt your website.
Good luck. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, we do all of this work manually. It's, updates are run weekly, and that's for WordPress core, themes, plugins. There's an actual engineer there behind the scenes doing all of this work for you. It's not just autopilot and run. So there's just a few different, maybe education angles as well for clients to be able to transition to high pricing.
Yeah, that's a really good point. What type of other services do you run manually that clients would expect to be automated?
Yeah, the one question I get a lot, I think, is around speed optimization. I think now, because there are so many amazing plugins out there that are marketed towards speed optimization, and I don't think there is one single plugin out there that's just going to magically speed up your website.
Not without breaking it along the way, no.
So we, on the kind of higher level on Perform Plan, we provide WP Rocket, which is an awesome plugin. There's a lot of configurations there. It's great for cache, all of this. It's not a set and forget option. It's just part of that puzzle. And so speed optimization is another area that we do manually. Websites get run through a report like GT metrics, and we would use that waterfall. I'm not technically minded, as you can tell, but the waterfall to kind of see where all of those bottlenecks are on the site. And so that is all done manually for your clients. So that's just another area to kind of focus on. And, this can all be educated through maybe email sequences and the lead generation stage, those ebooks that we have. That's all really useful stuff to be able to show your clients the amount of work that goes into properly managing a WordPress website. It's not just a plugin set and forget sort of thing.
Definitely. Graham has another really good question. If a WordPress site was built on a very bloated stack by the client, how would your engineers optimize that?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, because we aim to get websites to load 2 seconds or under, but we're not wizards. We're not miracle makers. If there is
can't do that
there,
on GoDaddy shared hosting, no.
Yeah. So this is what I was going to say. If a host is holding us back because they maybe need to upgrade their package, or there's not enough PHP workers or something, and then that's something that we have to go back to the agency partner and say, look, here's the reason why we can't meet these speed requirements, but here's what you can do to solve that problem. So we don't host websites ourselves. So unfortunately, that's not something that we can just kind of fix, but we can definitely make recommendations and help figure things out.
And you can do the migration as well, I would assume. You can assist with that too.
Yeah, so we can quite often will act as the kind of middleman, if you like. So when we wouldn't do the host migration, but if your client's moving from one to another, we can be responsible for kind of communicating with the
with that
previous
host.
host. Yeah, and to
I
kind of
see.
help move
So
things over.
yeah, it makes total sense because all the hosts have free migrations these days, and you would
Exactly.
just orchestrate that free migration.
Yeah, and to be honest, we want to leave that to the experts. The host is the expert when it comes to moving to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll leave that in their hands. But absolutely, a lot of, especially our direct clients, there may be businesses that they're just not technical and don't feel confident speaking to their host, and so that's when we can come in and still be their sort of one point of contact.
Yeah. One thing from personal experience, real quickly, Graham, is I handed one of those sites over to WP Buffs, and what they did is they got back to me with a list of plugins that actually were holding back the site in terms of loading quickly, and they weren't sure of whether those plugins would actually be needed or not. And then they, first of all, gave me that list, gave me a list of alternative plugins that would load quicker, and disabled all the plugins that I gave them green light for to speed up the website.
Yeah, that's an excellent example. I was going to mention as well, like a really good real world example is things like live chat. Quite often, if you're just using a maybe standalone plugin, that is just a script that we can't optimize for speed. And so sometimes that's another recommendation where we can say, if you switch to this one, we know that it's going to work faster. We'll test it on staging and we'll figure it out. But sometimes yeah, Graham's right. There are just going to be blockers sometimes that we can work through and recommend.
Yeah, but then again, those blockers, you would face them if you were to provide the maintenance services your own as well. It's just nothing you can do about a slow host, for example, except for migrating.
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting. That is really nice. So, what else do we need to know about the white label programs? For example, I'm just going through the notes that we came up with earlier. How many clients would you recommend somebody bring on to WP Buffs if they were a new agency partner? Does it make sense to have like one or two clients in the beginning to iron out the kinks in the processes and then bring on the rest of the websites that you manage?
Yeah, that's actually a super good question because we have really over the years at WP Buffs learned our own lessons when it comes to onboarding a lot of sites quickly. And yeah, you're completely right. I mean, what I would always recommend is if I'm speaking to an agency who is completely overloaded with care plan sites and they just want to get rid of them super fast because they need to free up their team, I would still recommend let's move slowly. Let's onboard a couple of websites. Let's get you onboarded as a partner. Make sure everything is to the highest quality it can be in terms of white labeling everything, setting up your logo, and then onboard. Maybe week to week, our engineers can also onboard those websites. We don't want to overload our own engineers either. And so we're not going to be able to provide you a really top level service if we onboard 50 websites, 100 websites, in one day in a 40-hour period. So yeah, we always want to be really realistic with our partners. But yeah, we work with agencies of all sorts of different stages and levels. One website, two websites to upwards and upwards. So yeah, I think that's a really important thing to note. Actually, it's don't rush into anything. You also want to make sure that we are the right partner for you. You don't want to change your processes and all your internal procedures for hundreds of clients overnight to find out that for some reason, we may not be the right partner for you. So it's definitely a good idea to move slowly and gradually scale up.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more. You also offer 24/7 emergency service. What is that?
Yeah, that relates to pretty much anything that goes wrong on the website that would bring it down. So this goes back to kind of talking about you don't want to be that person who wakes up at 2 a.m. to a Facebook message ping from a client that says my site's down. We can handle that for you. We have processes in place that mean we ping our websites every 60 seconds. We're always going to know, and because our team is fully distributed, fully remote, we have people on all time zones, and so there's always somebody there that's able to pick that up for you. So yeah, that's another super valuable point to add into your care plan structure.
Yeah, that is also a really good selling point, is having humans in every time zone and really having humans deliver 24/7 support and not some automated bots, uptime monitoring and stuff like that. is something that your clients will.
Yeah, that actually brings me on to another question that I get quite often. It's how to kind of transition your clients to this kind of 24/7 situation. If you do have really close relationships with the clients and you're used to maybe phone support and they know you're a one-person band, if you like, how do you keep things white labeled and how do you transition them across to all of a sudden have 24/7 access? So that's another conversation that I love to have with our agency partners. Some of our partners are very transparent and they say that they are working with somebody because they simply, they are scaling and growing. But the majority of our partners would use language like they've expanded their team. And that is truly what you're doing when you work with a partner like WPuffs or any white label program. You're expanding your team, you're outsourcing and expanding. And so that's why we like to, think of ourselves as an extension of your team. When we work with you, we aren't WPuffs, we are your brand.
Yeah.
So that's how it's kind of positioned to their clients.
Yeah. So if you are an extension of our team, how do you vet your own team so that we can essentially save the vetting process by hiring you?
Yeah. So you mean our engineers?
Yeah. How do you make sure that your team is up to par?
Yeah. This is kind of been a team effort up until this point. We've hired now a HR person, and so we're also scaling and growing. So it's super awesome to have Shay on board. But yeah, Nick so far has done an awesome job at hiring engineers and through that interview process, because Nick himself has ran his own agency. He's a developer. He's super technically minded, as well as
Nick Adams. Minded. That is
Nick Adams. Yeah.
Yeah. Nick Adams is live Saturday at 1 p.m.
Yeah.
So everybody interested in this topic, save their time.
Yeah, absolutely. His brain is an awesome one to pick, let me say, because he has both sides. He has the developer and running an agency side of his brain, and also a ton of knowledge for WPuffs. And so he's been the perfect person to speak to potential engineers that come in and work at WPuffs and vet people, both from sort of a business level, but also on a technical level. So that's been awesome. And of course, Joe.
Yeah.
As well, yeah.
Interesting. I would love to switch topics a little bit, as we don't have any more questions coming in right now. I would love to dive a little bit into the story of WPuffs, because if we are building a relationship with a white label partner, that's something that's tightly integrated and that hopefully lasts for a year or two, or definitely longer as the businesses grow together. So can you walk us a little bit through where WPuffs is coming from and what level you are at right now?
Yeah, sure. So around 5 years ago, Joe founded WPuffs. He himself was just one person and has grown the company. And so, yeah, Joe has like awesome first-hand experience of kind of growing and scaling an agency, if you like. It's been quite impressive. So yeah, he hired engineers himself back then, 5 years ago, did everything himself, and then hired, like we're teaching agencies we work with to outsource bits here and there to be able to kind of scale and grow. Built trusted people around him to get to the stage where we are now at WPuffs. By the end of the year, we should be at a team of over 25. And nice. That's grown from just one person.
Nice. And if I'm not mistaken, Joe also grew this agency to a 7-figure business within 5 years.
Yeah. That's something that Joe has put into the business, transparency all the way, which is something that drew me to work at WPuffs and want to work here. It's built on full transparency. He tweets about company income. He talks about that at conferences and on webinars himself, and is very transparent with where we're at. And so, yeah, that's super interesting to follow along.
Yeah, definitely. Can you share some of the lessons from your personal experience of working with WPuffs? Like, what are some of the moments that stood out for you?
Some of the moments that stood out to me. Wow, that's a big question. Yeah, you almost think, I guess people get this in any sector they work in, but there's a moment where you stop and you look back and you think, wow, how have 3 years just kind of disappeared? And you've been working so fast and learning so much that all of a sudden, 3 years, you've been in the company 3 years, which is just awesome. I don't know. I think from one of the moments that stands out for me is when I first met our team, people on the team, Nick and Joe specifically. We've always been, I was hired remotely. I've always worked remotely for WP Buff. So at the beginning, there wasn't, a time where I went to a face-to-face interview with Joe or Nick. It was just, virtual. But by the time we actually met, nothing had really changed. We were like, yeah, you're Nick, you're Dean, you're Joe. It was kind of like, we just knew each other already. And that's the kind of communication that we kind of have in our team. And that's when I kind of realized
that's amazing. I'm just blending this in because Graham has to leave, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure the WP Buffs will be looking out for you, Graham.
Yes, thanks, Graham. Thanks for your questions.
Nick is so excited he even bounces his microphone. Dean, sorry. I'm so excited that I'm mixing up names, and you are so excited that you're bouncing the microphone. Oh boy, it's late for both of us. Apologies.
Yeah, I have my microphone so close, and I move my hands so much when I talk that sometimes it just flies away.
I love it. I'm not the only one who's doing this then.
No, absolutely. I need to bolt it to the table. Yeah, that was the moment that stood out for me, I think. Just the first time meeting people. It just really kind of cemented that we've really had such great communication that we just know each other already. It's face to face. So yeah, there's still
similar how we met last year at WordCamp Europe for the first time. It was we were also just emailing, and I'm pretty sure we just had one call before we met in person, and it still felt like we knew each other for quite some time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was. This is something that I miss at the moment, especially with the world the way it is. Just not being able to get out and meet partners at WordPress conferences. So many of our partners are out there in the WordPress space, and we just can't get there right now. But it's always, working virtually is awesome, but it's always good to meet people in real life. So.
Yeah, but that's also speaking to the quality of the white label program, that you have these monthly calls and stuff like that, so that you are always keeping in touch with the companies that you work with, and that it's really a journey you are on together rather than just you scaling because you have partners. Yeah,
definitely. Louise is also on the customer success team, who is awesome. So you may speak to her as well if you join us. And she's great to speak to. Yeah, she has tons of knowledge and loads of account experience as well, so she can help in loads of different areas. So it could be either of us that you speak to.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I think that what I hope that people take away from this conversation is just schedule a call and see if it's a good fit. And even if you have no clear idea on how you can sell maintenance plans, or how do you transition existing clients to the WP Buffs, and whether that makes sense even, I would just recommend that you schedule a call to dip your toes into the water to see how it could work. And then it's an informed decision that you can make. Otherwise, if you decide that I'm not going to hire a team, or I'm going with somebody else, or I just do everything on my own, or I don't want to do maintenance at all because I don't want to have that responsibility to keep the websites up and running all the time, I think you're missing a lot of opportunity on.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Jan. That was great. Yeah, and we love, we also, again, the sales team is super transparent. So even if they, even if an agency does talk to us and we happen not to be a right fit for some reason, we've got a great pool of trusted people in the WordPress space that we can also let you know of. So yeah, just schedule a call and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think that's something that many more agencies need to be aware of, is that the recurring revenue is something that is not going away. It's something that you need to focus on. The session with John White is also interesting if you're wanting to learn more about recurring revenue, because he structured the entire project pricing around recurring revenue. He's not charging one big price, but he has found a way to charge for 2 years for a project. So that really quickly piles up into a big income every single month if you constantly onboard new projects, and combine that with ongoing maintenance. And every single month you have money coming in. You know exactly how to scale your team, or how to not scale your team if you decide to stay small. You know that all the bills are covered. You can go to sleep at night and you don't need to worry where the next big project is coming from. So that for me is the biggest reason to walk with an agency partner like WP Buffs. There are many others. If you feel that the Buffs for some reason aren't the best fit, there are many others who offer similar services. But the lesson, I think, from this conversation should be that you are missing out if you're not having a partner like this.
Yeah, definitely. It's it's almost a no-brainer, especially if you're looking to scale the agency. Yeah. And like you say, there are tons of other care plan services out there for different budgets. They provide different levels of support, and it just depends kind of where you are at your agency. But we can have that conversation with you and help kind of almost guide you through and figure out who is the best sort of. Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you want to do that, I highly recommend you check out the virtual booth that the Buffs have on the summit, because there are amazing giveaways. We're actually giving away Logitech StreamCam in the spinning wheel, next to some swag. So the new logo that you came up with is amazing, by the way, and I have yet to order my cap with that. The StreamCam is really cool because it's really hard to get your hands on these days. Everybody and their dog is opening a YouTube channel. I highly recommend you spin the wheel there, try your luck, schedule a call with the Buffs, as we said, to just get to know each other and form a relationship. You never know what that relationship turns into. Dean, where can people get in touch with you personally?
So personally, I'm on Twitter at Burton Dean. I think most of my social media is just the same name, at Burton Dean.
Brilliant.
I also have recently launched a kind of small website where I talk customer success, MRR. It's dean-burton.com. So if you're interested to learn more about customer success side of things, churn, MRR, I'm continuously writing on that topic. So feel free to check it out. There's just a little personal space.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on, Dean. Thank you so much, everybody, for spending the time. If you're watching the replay, then again, tweet at Dean. If you have any questions, head over to the booth, spin the wheel, try your luck, and see you next time.